Action. My name is Victor Makuto, and I'm a teacher of English. And I want to take you through a lesson called writing a poem. Writing a poem is a lesson that we teach grade 10 students or learners. And we want to introduce them to first come to just to like poetry. Then from there they get down to appreciate poetry and later be able to write poems. So I'm going to begin by asking one of you just to explain to us if they know by the term poem. Have you ever seen a poem? Have you ever written a poem? Or have you ever come across a poem? Maybe one of you can tell us. One student. Oh, thank you so much, Bob. I explained that so well. That is a good trial. I think you are in the right step in understanding what a poem is. Yeah. So we're going to explain to you what a poem is. A poem is just a word with flowery. Is a composition with flowery words. Yeah. When we see a poem, we find that we look at the words and we are in a position to really appreciate the words in the manner in which they've been used. So, how do we recognize a poem? How do we recognize a poem? By recognizing a poem, we shall find time so that we look at the features that define what a poem is. At the end of the day, I think when we look at poems and poetry, we want to, at least one day in our lives, when we grow up, you as learners, you become people like William Shakespeare. You know, they've written a lot of poems. You know William Shakespeare? Kellyan, have you ever heard of the word William Shakespeare? That is a famous poet. We also have Wordsworth and also Robert Frost. Yeah, those are famous literary poets, and they have written poems. I want you to think of a situation whereby in your own life you can sit back and even be able to write a poem. Maybe in a certain occasion. Have you ever had a birthday for a friend? Then you sit down, then you write a very nice flowery poem. Okay, so at the end of the day, as we continue with the class later, we will learn how later we will come to write poems. But before that, I want us to first of all learn what is a poem, then go ahead and look at what are the features that define a poem. Yeah, so that is the topic today. And our objectives, like I've said, is we will first of all ensure that you recognize what a poem. If you come across a certain composition, are you in a position to know that this is a poem as opposed to any other literary genre? And then after that, you should be able to appreciate it. Look at it, look at the language that is there in that particular poem, and then you love it, and then you appreciate what a poem is. I'm very sure this is an interesting topic, and you're really going to like it. Thank you so much. So we begin. What is a poem? A poem is an imaginative composition. An imaginative composition that is arranged in stanzas. So in order for you to understand this, I want you to look at these two. You look at them in terms of which one is imaginative between A and B, between A and B, which one is imaginative and which one is arranged in stanzas, right? So I want to give you a few seconds, you have a look, then you will tell me, according to your own fair judgment, which one is a poem, and which one is just an ordinary composition. All right. Okay, so A, you can look at A. We can have one person, a student, one learner to read for us. Yes, Rishan. Okay. All right. Okay. So Rishan has read for us A. Let us have Rihal Ovil to read for us B. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. That's good. You have very good reading abilities. Quite impressive. So let's look at between A and B. Which one do you think is a poem? Which one do you think is a poem? Yes, yes, Bob. Tell us, between A and B, what do you think is a poem? Yes, you're right. B is a poem. And why is it a poem? Because from the definition that we gave initially, a poem is a composition that is arranged in stanzas. It's a composition that is arranged in stanzas. And it's also imaginative. It's also imaginative. If you look at the two, between this and this one is more imaginative, while this one is just flat. So when we write poems, we first of all ensure that they are imaginative, and then we also look at their structure in terms of the way they are arranged. We have what we call a stanza. So what is a stanza? I'm going to explain to you what a stanza is, because stanzas are the ones that form poems. So a stanza is a collection of lines. So when we talk about in poetry, we don't refer to them as sentences as such, so we call them lines. For example, poem B has got one stanza, and it has got 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. Okay. Yeah. So that one now tells us the difference between the first composition and the second composition, and the second composition qualifies as a poem compared to the first composition. The first composition would just be some lines in a composition, or just some sentences as they are. Okay, right. So I want us to move on to the second part of the lesson. Whereby we're going to look at the features of a poem. We're going to look at the features of a poem. Okay, so basically, a poem has got three features. The first feature is the choice of words. We are going to use another poem, and I will bring it to you. So when we look at the choice of words, poems have a deliberate choice of words. Whenever we have a poem, the words are selected and chosen specifically for them to fit in that particular poem. Then we are going also to look at the second feature, which is that in a poem we have a rhythmic pattern. There is a rhythmic pattern. Now, this rhythmic pattern is achieved through repetition. When I give you the second poem here, I'll take you through these features by referring to them in that particular poem. You will see that there is a repetition. Okay. Then lastly, poems have conscious. They are concise. They are concise in terms of the words that they use, so that they can be able to specifically dedicate the meaning to which they want to bring across. Conciseness. They are to the point. The words that they have are specifically for the meanings that they are intended to bring out. Okay. So poems are just supposed to be enjoyed. I came across one poem here that I want you to have a look at. Then I'll try and identify the features that we have here. Okay. So up to this point, I would just like to know if we are moving together. If you are moving together, you can have your cards, the cards that you have. If I'm moving fast, or we are moving together and you're trying to understand me, kindly bring out your blue card. Class, blue card. Those who are not getting me clearly. If you're not getting me clearly, please show me with a red card. Alright? So let it not worry you, because at the end of the day, I'm going to put you into groups so that I take care of the different abilities that you have, so that each and every one of you will be able to understand, and then at the end of the day, everybody will be able to get this. Okay, so let it not worry you. I'm actually going to put into groups so that when we are identifying the features, then we will look at how each group tries to identify. Those of you who need more time, I'll give you more time. And those of you who feel that they need more work, I will still add you more work so that you can be able to practice even more. All right, so I want us to look at this poem. This poem does not have a title, but I want to use it. I want to use it so that we can be able to get down to the choice of words. Yeah, so the first is the choice of words. So the words that have been used in this particular poem have been carefully chosen, and they are carefully chosen so that they bring out their respective meanings. Then look at rhythmic pattern. When we say rhythmic pattern, there are aspects of repetition. There are aspects of repetition. Maybe Rishan, you can tell us. Are you able to see any aspect of repetition from this poem? Yeah, that's right. That is true. That is true. That each and every first line of each stanza is repeated. That is right. Is repeated. We also have a repetition of the word my. Repetition of the word my. So it is this repetition. That helps us to bring out the rhythm or the pattern that you have in poems. And then lastly, conciseness. So conciseness, we say the words that have been used to convey the right meaning. So we have words like midnight, we have words like thinking, we have words like thoughts, we have words like thoughts, and all those words are used so that they bring out the exact meaning. So that is just but some of the features of the poem. But moving across, I would like you to also understand the language. So apart from the structure, that is the arrangement of the poem into stanzas and lines, we also have the language. And here, I want you, as an added activity, you will identify for me aspects of language. Identify for me aspects of language. And the aspect of language that I would like you to identify for me is metaphor and simile. Metaphor and simile. Remember, we looked at this in the previous lesson. We already know what metaphors and similes are, because they are aspects of comparison. One is direct, this one is direct comparison, and this one is indirect comparison. Okay, so I would like to put you into groups of 5. Okay, the groups of 5. Then you find time and identify for me aspects of metaphors and similes. And then we will get down and then be able to even understand the poem more. Okay, so from the group works, I think you already have secretaries. We have secretaries who can come up with what they found out from the group. I think I've moved around and checked for each one and every one of you, and I like the way most of you have identified the aspects. Are we able to bring out? Yes, Rolling, come and tell us from stanza 1. Are you able to see a simile from stanza 1? Yes, that's true. Yes, like flowing water. That is a simile. Let's all clap for her. That's very good. Thank you so much. Then we also have group 2. Let's have group 2. Group 2 being led by Randy. Randy, come and tell us, show us. Do you see any aspect of similes? Yes, that's right. Like the creeping grass. That is also another simile. Let's clap for Randy. Thank you so much. And really, if you continue like that, that is a very, very good aspect of you. You're headed in the right direction. Let us have group 3. Let us have group 3. Yeah. Come and identify for us aspects of a simile. Okay. Yes, that's right. Yes, Sylvia. Correct. Like the brightness. Like the brightness. That is an aspect of a simile. All right. So I want you from here. Now you know how a poem is, how a poem looks like, and then now you can go ahead and even look at the structure of a poem and look at the language that is there in a poem. So in the next class, we will get down and try to learn how to write a poem. So this particular lesson, we just wanted to see what a poem is, look at the features of that particular poem, and then be able to look at examples of poem and then identify the aspects of language. So I would like to take this opportunity just to summarize what we've learned today. So today we've learned what is a poem, and then we've looked at the features. The features are the choice of words, rhythm, pattern, and consciousness. Then we've gone ahead to look at an example of a poem, and then we've gone ahead to read it, appreciate it, and then look at aspects of language that come to it. What I'd like to ask you as we wind up is identify occasions that will now put you into pairs. Now in pairs, identify aspects or identify occasions when we can write poems. Yeah, think of them. If somebody has a birthday, can you write that particular person a poem? If somebody has passed exams during you can write a poem, which is a congratulation poem. Or if somebody has even lost someone who is beloved, you can find time and then they write a poem. But that is for the next class. Okay, so thank you so much for finding time to listen to me, and God bless you. Thank you.